Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Very Weezer-ish.
What's that?
This is just generic music, right? All of our guests today on Donnie and Dolly on this Monday are brought to you by Basant Motors as we wait on Craig Button. Probably saw the first hour and went, ain't going to happen. Brought to you by Basant Motors. Due to popular demand, Basant Motors has continued on with its anniversary sale. Get huge discounts and great promotions with your next vehicle. Get all the details at BasantMotors.com. We got Craig?
Yeah.
Okay. Usually on a Tuesday, today on a Monday. We've had to rework things today. Joining us now, TSN Scouting Director Craig Button. Craig, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I am really, really well. How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm going to start off on a serious note, if you don't mind, Craig. The Adam Johnson situation, passing away after suffering a slashed neck during a pro hockey game in England. When are we going to see neck guards mandatory at all levels of hockey in every country that plays hockey?
Yeah, well, I mean, every country, every hockey federation is going to have to, get behind it and deal with it. But preventable accidents. Whether it's many or whether it's few, if you can find a way to prevent them, I think it's imperative that you do that. I mean, I feel like we're back to the visor question. Kids grow up wearing neck protectors all the way through. So why do we take them off? It's something that they've grown accustomed to. It's something that protects them first and foremost. So why do we allow them to take them off? And, one accident like this that's preventable is one accident too many. And, I was the manager of the Calgary Flames the night that the young lady got hit in the head with the puck. She passed away a few days later. And right away, bedding and mesh went up behind the nets. Right away in every rink. So what are we waiting for? There's no reason to wait. It should be in and if the hockey doesn't want to impose it, then the government should get involved and say, no, you're not playing unless you're protected here. I mean, at the end of it all, it's sad, it's tragic, and everything that goes with it, but it's preventable. So let's make sure that we don't have another, even something a near case is one too many. Prevent it.
Brittany Cecil was the name of the young lady who lost her life in Columbus. Craig, did you see the incident in England, Craig? And if so, do you have any comment on what happened?
Yeah, I did see it, and I've seen some comments now that it was reckless, and the where the skate came up. I don't see it that way. The game happens so fast. The players are moving at speed and intensity, and I think it's an unfortunate. I don't think that any player that's airborne like that is reaching out to try to deliver a kick to anybody. I just I don't see it that way, and I really do think it's irresponsible for people to suggest that.
Moving on, Craig, tough to do, but we're going to do it. Heritage Classic, Oilers over the Flames, 5-2. First of all, what's your opinion of the job Edmonton did? I don't know if you were there or not, but the job Edmonton did of hosting this event.
Well, I mean, they're great hosts. I mean, I think the event, and let's stick on the event before we get to the game. The event was fantastic. The event for the Edmonton Oilers fans and certainly for everybody tuning in and attending was fantastic. It really was well done. It was something that, we think about the first Heritage Classic in 2003 that I was at. I wasn't there yesterday, but fantastic event and supported fully and completely by everybody. So, when it comes to events, something that I think that should be celebrated.
Craig, let's stick with the Flames for a second. Oh, my goodness. 2-6-1, 31st in the league. But here's the thing, Craig. They got a ton of UFAs. Lindholm, and then look at the defense. Hanifin, Tanev, Zaradov. Like, what's going to happen here if they keep losing? They got to trade all these guys off, do they not, Craig?
Rick, I couldn't agree with you more. last year, they missed the playoffs by a couple points. We saw all that happened in the offseason, new manager, new coach, supposedly a new attitude and, a new approach to doing things. And everybody was excited. And I thought, based on how close they were last year and some good signs, that there was a team that was capable of qualifying for the playoffs. I don't think that anymore, Rick. I am changing my view. Yeah. And, we heard Michael Backlund signed a 2-year contract. It was a 2-year extension. He was named the captain. But for Craig Conroy, talks about Noah Hanifin being extended, other players being extended. What I would say if I was in that position, I'm not extending anybody. I'm not. Everything is on hold right now, because if a rebuild is painful, there is no way anybody can tell me it's more painful than watching the Flames play right now. Because if you call what they're doing playing, I call what they're doing is dressing in hockey equipment and not participating in any way, shape, or form. Through 2 periods yesterday at even strength, 2 periods, full 40 minutes, they had 0 slot shots, they had 0 high-scoring danger chances, and they had 0 cycle chances. Zero. And Mackenzie Weegar on Thursday night said St. Louis Blues broke them in the 3rd period. Okay? It's a broken team. And I'm not committing to a broken team. And I think that Craig Conroy and the management and ownership group have to look at this and say, maybe we're better off in a different situation. And as for Nazem Kadri and Jonathan Huberdeau, they should be flat out embarrassed by the way they're playing. Flat out embarrassed. And unless they come out and say, hey, listen, we have serious injuries or whatnot, there's no excuse for what I would call a complete lack of effort. And if it wasn't for Jacob Markstrom, they would have lost that game yesterday 15-2.
You know what's a whole lot better in Calgary? Vancouver, Craig. Canucks are 5-2-1. What do you make of this squad and their good start, Craig?
Well, it's a good start, and that's where you want to be. They started out with the 2 wins against Edmonton, and I think it's okay to have a skeptic's eye at different points and kind of look at it and say, okay, are they real? And I know that they still have some areas that they would like to be better in defensively. But you start out well. I think the game against the New York Rangers, that's a good New York Rangers team. And that was a game where the Vancouver Canucks probably should have had a full 2 points instead of just 1. So that all being said, I think there's reason to believe that the team has capability to continue forth. I mean, they're not going to be a 110-point team, but the point is to try to get into the playoff hunt and then to ultimately in the playoffs. And now when you look at the Calgary Flames, the San Jose Sharks, and the Seattle Kraken, there's every reason for the Vancouver Canucks to believe that they continue to play hard and they continue to play at a level close to where they're at, that they can be right there and right there in the playoff hunt and in the playoffs. I think there's every reason to have belief and faith in that.
Craig, this is the focus of our poll question today. One more, if you don't mind me sneaking in here. But there was the 5-on-3, or probably the too many men penalty in the 3rd period called on the Canucks. There was the non-call on Kreider in overtime. I could see you're laughing at this, and Vancouver complaining here. Should officials be made available to the media after games?
Well, yeah, I loved what Rick thought. The reason I'm laughing, Donnie, and you have no issues with saying 1 more or 2 more, because once I finish my answer, I have 1 more for you.
Okay.
And but Rick Tocchet touched on it, and you know what? What's wrong with saying, I wish I missed that. I had a bad call. Yeah, you're right. What's wrong with saying that we made a mistake? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with just acknowledging? Yeah, we should. That should have been a penalty. I remember Derek Amell when he had that egregious offside call on the Matt Duchene penalty, and he went over. Barry Trotz told me the story. They were losing 3-0, and Derek went over to the Nashville bench, and he said, "I'm really sorry. I really blew that one." And Barry said to him, he goes, "Derek," he goes, "don't worry about it." He goes, "We were out of this game long before that goal. Just move on. Just acknowledge that you made a mistake. There's not so be transparent." That's what I would say. And this is what I'm going to finish with you. Mr. Don Taylor,
Yes.
congratulations on your nomination and induction into the BC Sports Hall of Fame. It's not only well-deserved, I think the timing of it reflects on everything you've done for sport in British Columbia, and I couldn't be happier for you. And, all the best to you and your family and your friends and everybody that's near and dear to you, and very happy to be associated with a Hall of Famer.
Well, I appreciate that, Craig. And each and every, usually Tuesday, but in this case, Monday, you make my job a whole lot easier. I really appreciate all your help. Thanks so much for the kind words.
Thank you.
You bet.